Once upon a time, in a time not so long ago, in a land not so far away, children played. They climbed trees, they wandered in search of adventure and mystery. They ran, they shouted, they fought, they fell, they got hurt. They had fun and they learned about the world. Children played outside as much as they could, until it got dark and even in the dark. But then things started to change. Fear and suspicion spread across that land. Parents began to believe that the world around them was no longer safe.
Children seem to be playing less and less. They also seem to be experiencing less variety when they play. Traffic stops them, pollution stops them, construction and building stop them, and increasingly, even we, their parents, stop them going out to play. It is essential that children play, but we only need to remind ourselves of what we did when we played and what children are able to do now to see a huge gulf developing between our play experiences and theirs. Of course, times have changed, new technologies have come along, and children have new toys to play with. But playing with the whole environment, especially the natural environment, is vital for children's healthy, well-grounded development.
We were the early gymnasts, I suppose. Walking the railings or swinging or hanging upside down, you know. This photograph, I don't know what age I would be, about 7, 8 maybe, 7, 8. And it's a time where I would focus very much on enjoying life in the street, you know, or playing. I would have been known as a kind of a tomboy, you know, always in the street, ever present on railings or wherever. We would have lived in William Street, quite close to the city centre. And this thing about swinging around a lamppost, we would have spent our time doing that an awful lot, you know. So those bring back memories very much of that age, you know, 7 or 8.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Pop on my seat, Donald! Pop on my seat, Ryan!
One of the best games we had, pre-70s, say late 60s, pre-70s, maybe up into the 70s itself, was kick the can. It was great fun. It involved hide and seek and all those skills. It also involved a bit of trickery and a bit of running, a bit of athleticism or whatever, but it was just good fun. It was just great crack when you were a child, you know.
Well, my memories were based on a country setting, my best, you know, memories of my childhood. At different ages in your life, you had different areas that you could go, like it was just the front of the house when you were about 2 and 3, and then about 4 and 5, you were, you know, the side of the house where you weren't seen. And then as you got older, you could go to the back field, and then there was a further field away from the back field as well with water and that, you know, quite a heavy stream. So when you were 8 or 9, you were allowed, you know, it was okay that you were out for a few hours that far away and just letting the stream go, or putting a dam and stopping it and then letting it go again. Things like that. You would have just spent hours and then not come in until you were really hungry or you were called in. So.
When children play, they stimulate the growth of their brains. And what is more, they create more brain cells than they need, the extra brain material being taken up by more play. This continuous cycle of play and brain growth makes children mentally and physically flexible. The result is that children have lots of different choices of behaviour and thinking which make it possible for them to adapt when environmental or other changes threaten their survival and development. Play behaviour doesn't look like ordinary street behaviour. When children play, they describe their world through games like tag and in narratives like being explorers.
Coconut crack. Coconut, double coconut. You're on it. Yes. Hey, tell them to stop. The children knew what they wanted, but it seemed they were always being stopped from doing it. Children started to feel very unhappy. Children were no longer allowed to wander and learn about the world around them. They were kept indoors more and more.
If children are to benefit from playing, then there are certain conditions that need to be met. One is that the child has to be in control of the content and intent of what she is doing. She needs to control how she does it too, and she has to do it for her own reasons. This need for independence in play can be very difficult for any adults involved. They may feel the need to organise, program and direct play, but play can only do the brain, muscle and skills development evolution has created it for if play is unstructured and unadulterated.
I'm going to perform a deadly feat. No, I don't want to do it. Don't push me. Ah! I got whipped. You're not going to get through unless I push you through. Help. The water. Help me. The amazing Roomba is going to walk along a really thin tightrope across the Niagara or whatever you call them falls. Okay? So you gonna go? Hold on.
Repetition is an important component of the play process. Children do things over and over again for important reasons. By repeating things, they create the neural pathways that make the behaviour possible to repeat at a later date. But although they repeat, they are also changing and modifying what they are doing too. A small child may want to play with the experience of height by jumping from a low step, for example. At the beginning, he will be concerned about how different the world looks from this new perspective, perhaps 6 inches off the ground, and will be very tentative about jumping off the step. But when he's jumped once, he will repeat it over and over again, not only to make sure he can do it, but also to make sure he has used every different jumping permutation. And thus exhausted the possibilities of the experience. He will jump faster, higher, forwards, backwards, jump off one leg and then the other, and he will go through a similar process with every other experience he encounters.
Well, you don't have to do your homework because
it's Saturday and we're at school.
it's Friday.
No,
It's Friday
it's Saturday.
tomorrow.
Sixteen different types of play have been identified, and each one of them gives the child a different way of accessing the world. For example, if the child engages in locomotor play, which, as its name suggests, is all about movement, she will experience the world from one particular perspective by moving through it. However, if she engages in mastery play, she will experience the world by trying to control it. This is what we see children doing on the beach when they try to stop the tide coming in.
Kitty, no the way you were stuck getting it up through there. Look how far we got it. Right, I'll pull away the brambles.
If he is involved in creative play, he will experience a world of texture and form, a sensory world of wonder. And if he engages in deep play, he will experience the world as a source of risk and challenge.
Lara, look at my trousers. Lara. But that's the whole point of fun. Lara. Getting dirty is a part of getting fun.
Children also need enriched environments in which to play. This means environments that are interesting and varied. Places with trees, plants, water, hills, rocks and other species. Anything that communicates to children, this is what your planet contains, and this is where you are in terms of space and time. When children play in such a diverse environment, it enables them to come into contact with that range of experience, to play with it and make sense of their lives.
So enrichment facilitates brain growth and it helps children to develop the abstract ideas and elemental constructs that add meaning to their own existence. Almost anywhere can act as an enriched play environment, facilitating brain growth and helping children to be stable and happy. Obviously, it needs to be an interesting and varied space, but equally importantly, it has to be somewhere that children feel they have permission to really play. Play can be messy and untidy. It can be experimental and exploratory. It can be destructive. And as any parent or play worker will tell you, it can be very noisy.
I think I would build a tree house on top of that really, the oldest tree in Brook Park. You know, the big one that looks really ugly with all the warts.
Spaces near houses, derelict land in city centres or docks, riverbanks and car parks can all become play spaces if they're made more interesting by planting, by landscaping and by making them traffic-free and above all, secure. For although children cannot play without space and novelty, they will not play if they feel threatened or frightened.
Children wanted something different. They wanted to explore the world around them. They wanted to reach out and touch it. They knew something was missing, but they were held back until one day the adults started to listen.
We need to develop a consciousness that play is more to our children than we have acknowledged in the past, and that we need to create an environment that makes play easily accessible. The gulf between what we did as children ourselves and what children are able to do now is huge and growing. Rather than encouraging our children to experience risk and diversity in their play, we stop them doing things because they might get dirty or wet or get a burn or graze their knee.
Walking backwards. I know.
All this is doing is stopping children learning about life and experiencing the brain growth which accompanies that. We urgently need to become more play literate, and then the fears that we have about letting our children play will diminish. Children will lead the way to that. They will show us. All we have to do is observe and learn.